Have you ever stood up from your chair and felt like your legs just weren't cooperating with you the way they used to? Maybe they feel wobbly, a bit weak, or even stiff for no clear reason. You might blame age, a lazy afternoon, or just a bad night's sleep. But what if I told you that something as simple and innocent as a fruit bowl could be part of the problem? Yes, you heard me right. Some fruits we've grown up believing are always healthy, might be quietly stealing your leg strength and making your muscles weaker day by day. And if you're over 60, your body doesn't recover the way it used to. Every bite counts. That's why today's video is so important, because your legs are your foundation. When they're strong, you feel steady, confident, independent. But when they start to go, everything from balance to walking upstairs becomes harder. In this video, we're going to talk about the 7 worst fruits seniors should stop eating. Fruits that may look sweet and healthy on the outside, but are secretly working against your leg strength. And don't worry, we're not here to take away all your favorites without giving you something better in return. Along the way, I'll also share some smart, natural swaps and tips to keep your legs strong, steady, and energized without giving up on flavor. Let's start with one fruit that almost everyone thinks is good for them: bananas. They're soft, convenient, and often seen as a go-to snack. But here's what many people don't know. Bananas are very high in sugar and starch. Now, that doesn't make them a villain by itself, but when you eat them often, especially if you're not very active, they cause blood sugar spikes. And that's where the trouble starts. When your blood sugar spikes, it leads to inflammation. And chronic inflammation is one of the biggest reasons muscles, including those in your legs, start to weaken. Over time, the sugar overload from regular banana eating can wear down your body's ability to process insulin, leading to something called insulin resistance. And that's a major problem for seniors because insulin resistance doesn't just mess with your energy, it leads to loss of muscle mass. Your legs are usually the first to feel it. They become tired more easily, less stable, and more prone to cramps or aches. Now, I'm not saying never eat a banana again, but if you've been having one every morning thinking it's a healthy start, especially if you're not pairing it with protein or fiber, it may be time to rethink that habit. Swap it out occasionally for a small handful of berries. Berries like blueberries and raspberries are low in sugar, rich in antioxidants, and actually fight inflammation instead of fueling it. Next, let's talk about a fruit that's often overlooked, but can cause more harm than good for your legs: grapes. Yes, they're small, sweet, and easy to snack on, but that's exactly the issue. It's so easy to pop one grape after another that before you know it, you've eaten a bowl full. And just like bananas, grapes are extremely high in natural sugar, especially the red and green varieties. These sugars act fast in the bloodstream and can cause energy crashes. If you're feeling drained or your legs feel like jelly an hour after lunch, that midday grape snack could be part of the reason. Here's something many seniors don't realize. Sugar not only inflames your joints, it also messes with your muscles. The sugar spike forces your body to release insulin quickly, and if your muscles don't use that sugar immediately, say by going for a walk or lifting light weights, it gets stored as fat. Worse, this process leads to muscle breakdown over time, especially in areas you rely on most for balance and strength, your legs and hips. And remember, it's not about completely banning grapes forever. But if you've been munching on them like candy, especially while sitting for long periods, it's time to cut back. Instead, try fresh cucumber slices with a sprinkle of sea salt or even a few cherry tomatoes. These alternatives are hydrating, satisfying, and won't rob your legs of the strength they need to support you. Now let me ask you this: have you ever had a mango and just melted into how juicy and sweet it was? Mangoes are delicious, no doubt, but here's where we have to be cautious. One medium mango can have more sugar than a can of soda. It's true. And for seniors, especially those watching their weight, blood sugar, or muscle health, that kind of sugar rush is the last thing you need. High-sugar fruits like mangoes do more than spike your glucose. They cause something even more serious over time: advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. It's a fancy name, but here's what you really need to know. AGEs damage the proteins in your body, including the ones that make up your muscles. And when your muscles are damaged from the inside, they get weaker, more tired, and they recover slower after any kind of movement. That's why mangoes, despite their tropical appeal, may be quietly sabotaging your leg strength if eaten often. And I know what you might be thinking is, but I love mangoes and I get it. So rather than cutting them out cold turkey, enjoy a few slices occasionally, and always with a source of protein like Greek yogurt or a handful of walnuts to slow the sugar absorption. That way, you get the flavor you love without the muscle sapping effects. It's little swaps like these that can make a world of difference in how you feel each day. Stronger legs mean more freedom, better posture, and the ability to do the things you love, whether that's gardening, walking your dog, or simply moving around your home with confidence. And when you start becoming more aware of how certain fruits affect your energy, your movement, and yes, your strength, you begin to feel more in control. You don't have to give up everything. Just be a little smarter, a little more intentional. Your legs will thank you. Now that we've touched on some of the sweeter culprits, let's move to a fruit that often hides behind its reputation as a health food: pineapple. Yes, pineapple. It's tropical, tangy, and refreshing, especially in the summertime. And it does have some benefits like bromelain, which can help with digestion. But here's where it gets tricky. Pineapple is extremely high in fructose, a type of sugar that can be especially taxing on your liver and your muscles. What many seniors don't realize is that when you consume high fructose fruits like pineapple regularly, it doesn't just spike your blood sugar. It also increases something called oxidative stress in your muscles. That means your leg muscles, already working hard to support your body, are constantly under attack by free radicals. Over time, this weakens the muscle tissue and slows down your ability to repair and recover after walking, climbing stairs, or even just standing for long periods. And because pineapple tastes so good, it's easy to overdo it. A few chunks turn into a whole bowl. And before you know it, your legs feel heavy, your knees ache a little more, and you're wondering why you're so drained by the afternoon. Pineapple might be the quiet reason behind that exhaustion. But don't worry, this doesn't mean you can never enjoy tropical fruits. The trick is moderation and pairing. If you love pineapple, try having just a few small chunks and combine it with a protein-rich snack like a boiled egg or a slice of cheese. This slows down the sugar absorption and protects your muscles from the sugar shock that would otherwise wear them down. Now let's talk about another common fruit that's often added to juices, salads, and breakfast plates: watermelon. On a hot day, nothing hits the spot like a cold slice of watermelon. It's hydrating and sweet, and it seems harmless, right? But here's something most people don't know. Watermelon has one of the highest glycemic indexes of any fruit. That means it causes your blood sugar to spike very quickly and crash just as fast. These sugar crashes are hard on your body at any age, but especially after 60. When your body is hit with a sugar rush and then a crash, it triggers fatigue and weakness. And because your legs carry most of your weight and do most of the moving, they're often the first to feel the strain. You might find yourself needing to sit down more often, or maybe your legs feel like they just don't have the power they used to. Watermelon, while delicious, could be draining your stamina without you even realizing it. Plus, let's not forget about insulin. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at using insulin to turn sugar into energy. So when you eat a large portion of watermelon or drink watermelon juice, you're flooding your system with sugar your muscles can't use effectively. That sugar ends up stored as fat, and the muscle cells begin to shrink and weaken from underuse. A better choice: try switching to something like kiwi. Kiwis are still sweet and juicy, but they have a much lower glycemic load and come packed with vitamin C, which helps your muscles recover faster and stay strong. And speaking of fruits that seem healthy but can secretly be sabotaging your strength, let's talk about dried fruits, especially raisins. Now, I know dried fruits are often seen as a handy, nutritious snack. They're easy to carry, don't spoil quickly, and taste just like candy. But that's exactly the problem. Take raisins, for example. They may have started as grapes, but drying them concentrates the sugar. A tiny handful of raisins can contain the sugar of a whole bunch of grapes without the water to help slow it down. So what does that mean for your legs? It means your body gets slammed with sugar all at once. And without the water content or fiber from fresh fruit, the sugar is absorbed even faster. That spike in sugar increases inflammation, especially in your joints and muscles. It also encourages fat storage instead of muscle preservation, which is the opposite of what you want after 60. And if you already deal with leg pain, swelling, or joint stiffness, dried fruits like raisins can quietly make those issues worse. Instead of feeling energized after a snack, you might feel slower, more tired, or like your legs aren't quite supporting you the way they should. Instead of dried fruits, go for a small apple slice with almond butter or a few celery sticks with hummus. These are real whole foods that nourish your body without overwhelming it with sugar. They support your leg strength instead of stealing from it. At the end of the day, the choices we make in the kitchen ripple through every part of our body. You may not always connect that fruit salad or smoothie to the soreness in your thighs or the wobbly feeling when you stand, but now you know. These common fruits, while once seen as heroes, might be playing a quiet villain in your daily life. And the good news is, it's never too late to turn it around. Simply being aware of how fruit affects your strength puts you ahead of the game. Every small adjustment, choosing berries over bananas or hydrating vegetables over sugary fruits, gives your legs the support they need to stay strong and dependable for years to come. Now let's take a moment to talk about fruit juices. Yes, even the ones that say 100% natural or no sugar added. You might be surprised, but fruit juice can be one of the most dangerous traps when it comes to maintaining strong, healthy legs as we age. Think about it for a second. When you drink orange juice, apple juice, or even grape juice, you're not just drinking the juice from one fruit. That small glass could easily contain the sugar content of 4 to 6 whole fruits, and none of the fiber that helps slow that sugar down. Without fiber, your body absorbs the sugar at lightning speed. It hits your bloodstream, sends your insulin levels soaring, and before you know it, your muscles, especially the ones in your legs, begin to feel sluggish. You may even notice swelling in your ankles or stiffness in your knees. That's your body's way of waving a red flag, letting you know something's not right. It's not about the fruit itself, it's the way it's processed. And here's the kicker. Many seniors turn to fruit juice thinking it's a healthy choice. You may think, I'm skipping soda, I'm skipping sweets, I'm doing it right. But the truth is, a glass of apple juice can sometimes have just as much sugar as a can of soda. The only difference is marketing. The sugar in juice can be just as damaging to your muscles and joints, especially when consumed daily. Your legs need strength to support your daily movements, and they rely on steady energy, not sugar roller coasters. When you drink fruit juice, your blood sugar spikes and crashes, leading to fatigue, muscle breakdown, and even cramps. If you've been waking up in the night with Charlie horses or struggling to walk longer distances, that morning glass of juice might be a bigger problem than you think. Now, if you truly love juice, try this simple swap. Dilute it. Mix 1 part juice with 3 parts water. You'll still get the flavor you enjoy, but you'll cut the sugar way down. Better yet, opt for smoothies that use whole fruits and include leafy greens or seeds to balance the sugar with fiber and protein. That way you're nourishing your body, not stressing it. Next, let's talk about bananas. Now this one might surprise you. Bananas are often labeled as the perfect snack. They're quick, portable, and full of potassium, right? And yes, potassium is essential for muscle function, but here's what most people don't talk about. Bananas are also very high in sugar and carbohydrates. When your muscles are already trying to fight inflammation and stay strong, that surge of sugar can work against them. For seniors especially, eating bananas too often, especially without balancing them with protein or fat, can lead to increased blood sugar levels. This doesn't just affect your energy, it directly impacts your legs because when your blood sugar rises, inflammation often follows. That means joint stiffness, heavier legs, and slower recovery after any type of movement. Have you ever felt like your legs just don't want to go after a simple walk around the block? Or maybe climbing the stairs feels like hiking a mountain. That could be your body responding to the wrong type of fuel. Too much sugar, not enough balance. Now, I'm not saying to cut bananas out completely. If you enjoy them, have half a banana, with a spoonful of peanut butter or a handful of nuts. That way, the protein helps your body process the sugar more gently, keeping your energy levels stable and your muscles protected. And let's not forget about grapes. Yes, grapes. They're small, easy to snack on, and oh so sweet. But here's the problem. Most people eat way more grapes than they realize. Because they're bite-sized, you can pop a handful in your mouth without thinking about it. But just 1 cup of grapes has around 23 grams of sugar. That's almost 6 teaspoons. When you eat grapes, you're giving your body a massive dose of fast-acting sugar. And while grapes do have antioxidants, those benefits can be overshadowed if you're constantly spiking your blood sugar. For aging muscles, especially in the legs, those spikes lead to energy crashes, inflammation, and eventually weakness. Some seniors have even told me, I snack on grapes all afternoon thinking I'm being healthy, but I feel wiped out by dinner. That's not a coincidence. The sugar in grapes gets absorbed so quickly that your energy burns out just as fast, leaving you tired, wobbly, and craving more sugar. It's a vicious cycle. A better alternative? Try switching to berries like raspberries or blackberries. They have far less sugar, more fiber, and tons of anti-inflammatory benefits that directly help your joints and muscles. Plus, they're just as delicious and easy to snack on. Now, one more fruit that often gets overlooked in these conversations is mango. Tropical, creamy, and incredibly sweet. Mangoes are a favorite for many, but like pineapple and watermelon, They're packed with natural sugars that act just like refined sugar once they hit your system. Mangoes have a high glycemic index, meaning they digest quickly and send your blood sugar on a wild ride. For seniors, that roller coaster can be rough. One moment you feel fine, the next you're fatigued, sore, or even shaky. Your muscles, especially in your lower body, are caught in the middle of that chaos. And over time, the effects add up. Some people love mango in their smoothies or chopped up over oatmeal, and that's okay in small amounts. But eating a whole mango or drinking mango juice on a regular basis can slowly drain your leg strength without you realizing it. The key is to use it as a treat, not a daily habit. If you love mango, try blending a few small pieces with Greek yogurt and cinnamon. That way, you're adding protein and healthy fat to slow down the sugar and give your body what it needs to stay energized and stable. At the heart of all this, it comes down to balance and awareness. The truth is, fruits aren't the enemy, but when we eat the wrong ones too often, or eat them in the wrong way, they stop being helpful and start quietly sabotaging our strength, especially in our legs, which carry the burden of our movement every single day. By simply making a few smarter choices, you can protect your mobility, regain confidence in your steps, and enjoy a better quality of life. And that's what really matters, isn't it? Not just living longer, but living stronger, with legs that still carry you through the moments and memories that make life sweet. Now we need to shine a light on one fruit that often flies under the radar: dried fruits. Yes, I know they're convenient, they're tasty, and they're often marketed as healthy snacks. You've probably seen raisins, dried apricots, prunes, or dried cranberries sitting right there in the pantry, seeming like a good alternative to cookies or chips. But here's the hard truth: dried fruits are some of the worst culprits when it comes to sugar overload and leg weakness. Why? Because the drying process strips out all the water content, leaving behind a tiny, concentrated bite that's loaded with sugar. Take raisins, for example. One small box of raisins has as much sugar as a chocolate bar, but most people don't stop at one small box. They grab a handful, and those handfuls add up fast. Now let's look at what that sugar does. The moment it enters your bloodstream, your body scrambles to balance it. And if your insulin response is even a little off, which is common as we get older, you're left with too much sugar floating around in your system. That excess sugar feeds inflammation, stiffens joints, and worsens circulation. Before long, your legs start feeling heavier, itchier, and more prone to swelling. You might even notice that standing for long periods becomes uncomfortable, or your legs cramp more during the night. And let's not forget, many dried fruits also contain added sugars or preservatives, which only worsen the problem. Some are even coated with syrup or oils to improve flavor and shelf life. That turns what started as a piece of healthy fruit into something more like candy. Now, I'm not saying you need to toss every bit of dried fruit in your house, but it's time to rethink how often you reach for them. If you love them, treat them like a garnish, not a snack. Sprinkle a few on top of plain Greek yogurt or a salad, rather than eating them by the handful. Better yet, swap them for fresh fruit with the skin still on, like a few slices of pear or apple. These have fiber, water, and natural sweetness, all in a form your body can process gently and effectively. And speaking of apples, here's another surprising twist. While apples are usually considered healthy, especially for digestion, there's a catch. Peeled apples, or sweet varieties, like Fuji and Honeycrisp, can actually have more sugar than you think. If you've been peeling your apples because it's easier to chew, you may be missing out on the most important part: the skin. Apple skin is packed with fiber and antioxidants that help regulate blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support your muscles. Without it, you're getting the sugar without the balance, which can lead to more of the same issues we've been talking about: fatigue, swelling, and that nagging weakness in your legs. If chewing the skin is difficult, try slicing thin and letting it soften naturally with a bit of almond butter, or warming it up slightly. And remember, choose the tartar varieties like Granny Smith. These have lower sugar content and offer more of the compounds that fight inflammation and support leg health. You'll still get the flavor, but without the crash. Now I want to address something very real that many seniors deal with: the fear of losing mobility. Maybe you've noticed you're avoiding stairs more often, or you've started using the railing where you didn't before. Maybe even short walks leave you feeling like your legs are dragging weights behind them. It can be scary and frustrating, because no one talks about how small diet choices, like eating the wrong fruits, can lead to big changes in your strength over time. But here's the empowering part: you're not stuck. You have control. Every single thing you eat either feeds your strength or drains it. That might sound dramatic, but for aging bodies, especially legs, it's absolutely true. The beautiful thing is, once you start replacing high-sugar fruits with anti-inflammatory, fiber-rich options, the changes can happen surprisingly fast. You might notice less swelling by the end of the week. You might feel lighter on your feet after a few days. Even your sleep can improve because your muscles are recovering better and not dealing with those sugar-triggered cramps in the middle of the night. And don't forget, your body still wants to be strong. That doesn't go away with age. It just needs the right tools. Think of your legs like a car. If you fuel them with sugar, they'll sputter and stall. But give them steady, clean fuel, like fruits with fiber, antioxidants, and balanced sugar, and they'll take you wherever you want to go. One small step I often recommend: keep a muscle-friendly fruit bowl. Fill it with fruits that support your legs instead of hurting them, like blueberries, cherries, kiwi, and small pears. Make it easy to grab the right choice when a craving hits. Sometimes just changing what's visible on your counter or in your fridge can shape your habits more than any willpower ever could. And don't be afraid to retrain your taste buds. If you've gotten used to sweet fruits like mango or grapes, your body might resist at first, but in just a few weeks you'll start appreciating the natural sweetness of lower sugar fruits even more. And your legs will thank you with better balance, more stamina, and less discomfort. Aging doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about what your body needs. Your legs are your freedom, your strength, your ability to live fully. Don't let hidden sugars rob you of that. You've worked too hard and come too far. Let's wrap things up by talking about one final fruit that might seem harmless, even healthy, but could be silently working against your leg strength: fruit juices. Yes, I know that's not technically a fruit in its whole form, but it's how many of us consume fruit daily. A glass of orange juice with breakfast, a little grape juice in the afternoon. It feels natural, even nourishing. But here's the problem. Most fruit juices are stripped of fiber, leaving behind only the sugar and a few vitamins. That means when you drink juice, your body absorbs that sugar fast. Too fast. It hits your bloodstream like a wave, spikes your insulin, and leaves you with that familiar crash afterward. And that crash, it affects your legs too. You might feel shaky, weak, or drained in your thighs and calves. Over time, this cycle of sugar spikes and crashes can wear down the muscles in your legs, making them less responsive and more prone to fatigue. What's worse is how easy it is to consume way more sugar from juice than you would from actual fruit. Think about it. When was the last time you sat down and ate 4 oranges in a row? Probably never. But one glass of orange juice, that's the sugar from 4 oranges, gulped down in seconds, with no fiber to slow it down. And if you've been drinking light, natural, or no sugar-added juice thinking it's a better option, be careful. These labels can be misleading. Even without added sugars, the fruit's natural sugars are still highly concentrated and processed. They still hit your system the same way. It's not about avoiding all sweetness. It's about controlling the way your body digests it. And juices take away that control. Now don't worry, I'm not saying you have to give up on enjoying fruit. Far from it. In fact, fruit can be one of your best allies for strong legs and healthy aging. When you choose the right ones and enjoy them the right way. It's all about eating fruit, not drinking it. Stick with whole fruits, preferably with the skin on, and pair them with a source of protein or healthy fat, like a handful of almonds or a scoop of cottage cheese. That way, your blood sugar stays steady, your muscles stay nourished, and your energy stays even throughout the day. When you start treating your fruit as fuel instead of a treat, everything begins to shift. You may find your legs carry you with more ease. Your balance improves. You might even feel more confident getting up from the couch or walking for longer stretches outside. It's all connected, and that's the heart of this conversation, really. So many seniors are told that weakness is inevitable, that pain in the knees or stiffness in the thighs is just a normal part of getting older. But that's not the full truth. Your body is incredibly responsive, especially to food. It's never too late to take charge of your strength. You just need to give your body what it's truly asking for. So let me leave you with this. Your legs have carried you through decades of life. Through jobs, families, vacations, triumphs, and hard times. They've supported you when life got heavy. Now it's time to return the favor. Protect them by being mindful of what you feed them. Replace the sneaky sugar bombs with choices that actually build strength. Love your legs like they've loved you, because they deserve it. And if any part of this resonated with you, if you've been struggling with weak legs or joint pain and didn't realize fruit might be playing a role, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know what fruit you're going to rethink after today's video. Maybe it's grapes, maybe juice, maybe dried fruit. Whatever it is, small changes can lead to big transformations, especially at this stage of life. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this helpful, and subscribe so you don't miss more health tips designed just for you. And if you know another senior who could use this info, share it with them too. We're in this together. And supporting one another is how we all stay strong. Here's to better legs, better energy, and living your best life at any age. You've got this.